The cars hit the ground, and they're off. Looked like Tessmann took an inside look at Dakotah Phend in turn 2 after the A-Main Canyon. And third place there, I think that was actually maybe David Ronnefalk that spun out after the live time back patio section, as Maifield has resumed the race here in the third position. Looks like Jared Tebo running fourth. It looks like Tebo may have switched to the white body. So it's Phend, Tessmann, Maifield, Tebo, and Lutz top 5. It was David Ronnefalk from 4th on the grid who dropped to 9th with a mistake after the stairs. And Dakotah Phend out front with Tessmann and Maifield behind the top 3 qualifiers running in formation. Tessmann looking to the inside before the fish hook on Dakotah Phend. Phend much tighter in the entrance to the back right corner. Up over the poker table, and here is Maifield. Maifield looking to the inside on Tessmann coming onto the LiveRC.com Las Vegas Strip. Oh, and Phend with a mistake, hitting the pipe in the back right corner, and a snap roll lands on his wheels. Able to resume in the second spot. What a scary moment there for the Reds Racing powered TLR driver. Tessmann taking over the top spot. Maifield had to check up. He lost a little bit of ground to the top 2. Phend was all over Tessmann through the fish hook and had to hit the brakes a couple of times not to run over that X-ray. Got an AKA instant replay here of Fend's terrific tumble. You see Phend out of shape coming out of that back left corner. Hit the pipe and did a cartwheel front flip. And able to continue on. Out of some serious luck there to keep the car moving forward. Only lost 1 position. Top 3 were separated by just 1.1 at the line last time by. So it's Tessmann, Phend, and Maifield. Tessmann with a mistake. He slips to second. And Maifield straightened him out going across the Savox dance floor. So Phend retakes the lead. And Tessmann with a rearview mirror full of Ryan Maifield's Mugen Seiki racing buggy with Jared Tebo in tow. Running in the 4th spot as the top 4 go through the greedy fingers to the lane change. Here's the battle for second between Tessmann and Maifield. Maifield looking to the inside in the fish hook. And not nearly enough room. Tessmann squirts to the inside in the back right corner. Dakotah Phend crashing going up the face of the poker table, and he's going to lose 3 spots with this mistake as Tessmann, Maifield, and Tebo go to the top 3. Meanwhile, 4th qualifier David Ronnefalk climbing his way back to 7th as he tries to make up for that early race mistake. So Tessmann and Maifield stretching out a bit of a gap now over Tebo in the 3rd spot. It looks like Phend may have worked his way past Tebo. Yes, he has. So Dakotah Phend back up to 3rd. And Ryan Lutz in 4th. Tebo has slipped 2 spots to 5th. Got AKA instant replay here of Dakotah Phend again. A little out of shape, turned in a little hard, hit the pipe, and slid over on his roof. No lucky roll this time. Luckily, he had Turbo there to run to save him. You see Jason Rona from J Concepts watching from the back straightaway, following along with the LiveRC and Lifetime live scoring stream on his phone. Tessmann and Maifield through the back right corner. Maifield looking to the inside in both corners on Tessmann. Tessmann a little out of shape before the poker table. Maifield checks up. Less than 0.15 of a second apart at the line. Down the back straightaway, Tessmann a little out of shape going up the face of the Lifetime back patio. Maifield making up some ground. Tessmann charging hard through the greedy fingers and hard again through the lane change. Makes up a little bit of ground on Maifield. And a lot of open track ahead. No worry about lap traffic for quite some time. Tessmann with a good run through the right side of the track as well. It was 0.14 of a second at the line last time by 0.8 this time. Is a 32.3 for Tessmann, almost 33 second flat for Maifield. Maifield faster on the back left corner. Tessmann out of shape before the AKA double downs. Has to single the first double, and Maifield goes by to the inside to take over the lead. Around the fish hook section, Tessmann looking to the inside. Maifield up on the pipe a bit. And Camden Lyon was right there for him. Tessmann hit the pipe in the back right corner there. Maifield with a little bit of a gap. Now it's almost 78 hundredths of a second. Maifield leads Tessmann with Phend, Tebo, and Truhe from 8th on the grid. An excellent start for Mayfield's Mugen Seiki Racing teammate, with the third MSR car of Adam Drake running in the 10th spot. So Mugen Seiki with 3 cars in the top 10 right now. Maifield and Tessmann over the poker table, both cars in the air at the same time, separated by less than 0.6 of a second. Over the A-main canyon on the left side, Maifield charging hard through the ruts in the back. Tessmann out of shape as he turned up the hill. And Maifield with a mistake through the AKA double downs gives up most of that advantage from Tessmann's bobble. And 2 of the best drivers on the planet, former national champions, and in the case of Ty Tessmann, a former world champion. Maifield, a former world's TQ. Down the straightaway for one more lap. Actually, lots more laps, working on lap number 12 of 82 projected. Separated by 0.6 of a second at the finish line, and see Tessmann's car hopping there through the bumps in the left-hand turn before the lifetime back patio. Here's Maifield through the lane change. The team-associated stepping stone. Tessmann a little tighter through the fishhook. And a little faster there through the back right corner, catching up under the wing. Maifield with a mistake going up the poker table, and Tessmann gets collected. So that's going to allow Dakotah Phend to close the gap. And the top 3 separated by less than 1.5 seconds. Phend catching a big break there, able to catch right up to the back of Ryan Maifield. Tessmann got lucky that tangle wasn't worse. And so now Tessmann, Maifield, Phend, Tebo, Truhe, top 5, 7 minutes in. Probably about a lap away from our first round of pit stops for some of these drivers. Got an AKA instant replay as Maifield crashing at the end of the fishhook there. Bad timing for an instant replay. Maifield catching the pipe going over the hip turn. And Tessmann able to power his way out from underneath him. So looks like Maifield coming into pit lane for his first pit stop a little earlier than the others, 7:15. In and out. Maifield with a mistake had already dropped to the 4th spot as we saw that crash while just going into an AKA instant replay. Uncharacteristic mistake for Ryan Maifield. Now Ty Tessmann with a little bit of a gap back to Dakotah Phend, who has no pressure behind him for quite some time. Here's Tessmann and Phend into pit lane at the 7:45 mark. In and out for the Tessmanns, super fast. And looks like a 1.2 seconds slower pit stop for Dakotah Phend. Tessmann crew crushed everybody in pit lane. He was 1.2 seconds faster than Phend in pit lane, 0.8 of a second faster than Tebo, and 1.5 seconds faster than Mike Truhe in their first round of pit stops. That is crazy. Big advantage there for Ty Tessmann. And now a 2.3 second lead for Tessmann over Phend. Tessmann charging up the hill. Looking for some extra redemption, not only from the electronics issues at the Dirt Nitro Challenge, but also not having the pace to contend for the win in the Pro Truck Final earlier today. And you can see it in that interview with Ty Tessmann, who expects to win every time his cars hit the track. That going this long without a major win with X-Ray has bothered him more than most of us will ever understand. Here's Dakotah Phend trying to chase down Tessmann. You can just see Tessmann exiting the frame as we pan to a next section. It was 2.3 seconds at the line last time by. Dakotah Phend, a little bit of a late bloomer to the 8-scale off-road crowd compared to some of these racers, but already incredibly successful, has won some 8-scale electric national titles and won a Roar 1 8-scale truck national championship. Made the main at the Worlds a couple of times and certainly has the speed and endurance to get this one done. Making the switch to AKA tires for the 2017 season. Looks like he's made up a little bit of ground on Ty Tessmann. It was nearly 2 seconds at the line last time by. Phend incredibly quick there through the fish hook on this lap. Carried a lot of speed and has allowed him to pull up under the rear wing a bit. Tessmann, the lead now 0.8 of a second. 32.108, new personal best for Dakotah Phend. Only driver to go faster than that so far was Ryan Maifield back on lap number 7. A 32.067 for the fastest lap of the race. But Phend, the fastest car on the track at the moment, charging through the lane change section over the team associated stepping stone and heading to the cash out double. Coming up on some slower traffic ahead. I believe that's one of Ty Tessmann's teammates immediately ahead, Josh Wheeler and Billy Easton. And it was a 1.1 second advantage. Tessmann a little bit faster on this lap, stretching out 0.3 of a second. They do have Billy Easton coming up ahead of both of them as Josh Wheeler had pulled out of the way for these two drivers. Tessmann around the fish hook. Actually, we got a whole string of cars coming up ahead, so this could shake things up. Tessmann sideways through the back right corner as Easton tries to give way to both cars in the same turn. It was 1.1, now 0.7 of a second. Dakotah with the new fast lap of the race. The first 31, a 31.928. The orange and blue TLR car is hungry, and Dakotah is letting her eat. Trying to Pac-Man his way up to Ty Tessmann's X-Ray car. Still 3, 4, 5 more lap cars coming up ahead. That should allow them to lap up to, I think, the top 8. Tessmann coming up on Adam Drake in the 11th spot. So actually, yeah, that would put them up into Mike Truhe, Joseph Quagraine territory. Tessmann's car kicking a little bit, and the holes going up the face of the back patio through the AKA double down section. Coming up on Tanner Denney and Joe Bornhorst. That is 10th and 9th, and Phend trying to tuck in behind Tessmann as they weave their way through traffic, get around his TLR teammate Tanner Denney. This is working in Dakotah Phend's favor. You see him now right under the wing again of Ty Tessmann over the poker table and onto the straightaway, less than 0.4 of a second behind. 12:20 down, 32:40 left to go. Oh, Tessmann sideways going into the left-hand turn before the live time back patio. Phend on the brakes coming down the stairs, not to run him over. Here's Joe Bornhorst. Bornhorst gets out of the way after the greedy fingers. Both cars transitioning hard through the lane change section and heading to the cash out double. Dakotah looked up the inside, but Tessmann had a run across the dance floor there, coming onto the straightaway. Let's see who's got the horsepower. Looks like Tessmann does. 12:50 down, 32:10 left to go. Up the live time back patio, still 2 more cars ahead. Phend to the inside of Ty Tessmann and makes the pass for the AKA double downs and clears him before the greedy fingers. A great move there for Dakotah Phend. And now Tessmann ducks in behind the fellow young champion. This generation kind of taking over the reins from the Maifield Tebo Cavalieri camp. Phend and Tessmann, 2 of the fastest racers on the planet. Got an AKA instant replay here of a brilliant pass for the lead. See Tessmann up at the top of the hill, locked up the brakes a little bit, got sideways, and Dakotah sort of touched into the side of him there, had nowhere to go, and then Tessmann was already out wide, so Dakotah drove down the stairs to the inside, made the turn before the AKA double downs, and now it's his turn to lead for a bit. See if he can speed up the pace here, or if Tessmann can sort of save his tires a little bit. I did notice in the truck main, in Pro Truck, the top 3 drivers all running different tire companies. We had AKA, J Concepts, and Proline all represented in the top 3 in Pro Truck. And right now, same thing here in Buggy, AKA leading the way, Proline second, J Concepts third. So interesting parity here on a track where we've seen one tire company or another have a lot of an advantage. Here at the RC tracks in Las Vegas, and frankly at a lot of the tracks that we raced at in 2016. A lot closer here at the 2017 Silver State. Our coverage this week, of course, brought to you by Team Associated A-Main Performance Hobbies and Live Time Scoring Engine. And now Dakotah Phend stretching out a little bit of a gap. It was already 1.4 seconds over Ty Tessmann at the line last time by. And it looks like Phend picking up even more ground here Coming up on our second round of pit stops as we see, looks like Jay Smoker and Greg Degani there, of course, pitting for their boss, Joseph Quagraine. Sean Kirkman trying to box out a little bit, just messing with Degani as they expect one of the Techno RC boys. I think they're pitting for Lutz, actually. Here comes, that was Quagraine into pit lane. Here's Bornhorst up on the blocks and back down. And Dakotah Phend 2 laps ago, new fast lap of the race, 31.836. Still the only driver into the 31s. See if Dakotah comes in this lap, and he does. And it looks like Tessmann will stay out one more lap. So Phend up on the blocks, Brian Kinney grabbing the car. And not sure who that was actually with the fuel gun. So Dakotah Phend in and out. And we'll see a 5.0 second pit stop for Dakotah Phend. Ty Tessmann's second stop was a 4.7. So again, Tessmann with tenths of a second advantage in pit lane. And that can add up over the course of the race. New fast lap of the race for Ryan Maifield last time by 31.696. Joins Phend in the 31-second lap club. But it's still Dakotah Phend out front. 2.4 seconds on Tessmann. And Tessmann's got company, less than 0.6 of a second back to Ryan Maifield. So a battle for the second spot. Tessmann and Maifield shaping up as Maifield trying to charge his way back. The top 6, interestingly enough, still running in qualifying order. There's Tessmann flashing across the team associated step on, step off. And Maifield getting around, looks like Tanner Denney there. So Tessmann making up a little bit of ground on Maifield on this last lap. It was 0.6 of a second, and now it's 1.9 seconds. So a much faster lap for Tessmann that last time by a 1.3 second much faster lap than Ryan Maifield. Here's Maifield looking for his second consecutive major pro buggy title after a phenomenal win at the Dirt Nitro Challenge last month. Already an e-buggy win here this week, as well as a podium finish earlier in the Pro Truck Final. Had a very calm perspective about not being able to race for another Pro Truck win. I said he just didn't have anything for Ryan Lutz in the Pro Truck man. He was happy for Ryan and the Techno team and happy to finish on the podium. Would love to close the 2.4 second gap, I'm sure, to Ty Tessmann ahead and make this a run for the second spot. 2.6 seconds from Phend to Tessmann, 2.5 seconds from Tessmann to Maifield, and then 14.3 seconds from Maifield to Ronnefalk. So the top 3 in a league of their own. And Maifield, the fastest car of the top 3 last time by, closing up the gap a bit to Tessmann. And Phend actually pulled out over 1/10 of a second on this driver right here, the white, purple, and black of Ty Tessmann, as Billy Easton, the Serpent engineer, has walked off the driver's stand. Easton was currently in the 12th spot and will drop back as he's the first car to drop out of the race completely. Tessmann down the straightaway, 2.7 seconds behind Dakotah. And here comes Maifield picking up another 0.3 of a second on Tessmann. He's within 1.9 now. See Maifield there at the top of the hill. Tessmann out of shape through the AKA double down, somehow able to wrinkle that back in. And cash out double. And there's Phend, who had just gotten around another slower car, just one corner ahead. Here's the battle for fourth between Jared Tebo and Ryan Lutz. Jared Tebo, a former Silver State buggy and 10-scale truck champion. And Ryan Lutz, now a 2-time 8-scale truck champion at this class, or at this race, excuse me. Tebo and Lutz over the cash out double. Last time by 33.4 for Tebo, a 33.7 for Lutz. So Tebo is actually a little bit faster on the last lap, this time by a little bit faster again. So the lead now for Tebo over Lutz, 0.6 of a second. Among the top 3 drivers, fastest car last time by was actually Ty Tessmann, but only just over Dakotah Phend. So the lead for Phend is 2 seconds, 2.6 seconds from Tessmann to Maifield. And Tebo and Lutz still going at it here for the 4th spot. And it's not far from Lutz back to Ronnefalk, just 1.7 seconds. Ooh, Tebo with a mistake, landing off the poker table. Lutz looking up to the inside. No, Tebo had enough horsepower to maintain that spot. And here comes Ryan Maifield down the straightaway. Tessmann actually a little bit of a rough lap last time by. And he slips to the third spot. So now Maifield taking over the 2. He is 5 seconds behind Dakotah Phend. So while Phend not quite able to contend for a win in the pro truck class, wow, Maifield was out of shape through the lane change and hit the pipe going through the fish hook. That's going to allow Tessmann to close up. Phend did not have the pace to contend for the win in pro truck. But as we near the halfway mark here in pro buggy, a 7.5 second lead over Ryan Maifield with less than 0.7 of a second from Maifield back to Tessmann. Still a great race here for the second spot as we should be coming up about a minute and a half or so from the third round of pit stops. Battle still for second between Maifield and Tessmann over the cash out double. Tessmann stuffing that open pipe, and I have no idea why they've left it that way. But it reached out and caught the x-ray of Tessmann, who's now slipped 2.5 seconds behind Ryan Maifield, and that's no longer a battle. A battle for Dakotah Phend getting through traffic here. And everyone can see that orange nose coming. Looks like that might be Jared Tebo coming up next. Wow, it is. So Dakotah Phend put in fourth place, a lap down. Only the top 3 remaining on the lead lap. 6.5 seconds from Dakotah Phend to Ryan Maifield in second. 2.369 seconds. Third. And then 25 seconds from Tessmann back to Tebo in fourth. Here's Bornhorst and Ronnefalk. Bornhorst into the pipe. Ronnefalk gets by to put him a lap down. Dakotah Phend down the straightaway. The orange and blue Reds Racing powered, AKA equipped Team Losi Racing buggy. I'm sure AKA products would be pumped for Dakotah to win in just his second major Nitro off-road race since joining AKA. A race sponsor here for us this weekend. AKA Products, along with Team Associated, A-Main's Performance Hobbies, and Lifetime, along with Savox. Dakotah Phend at 32.4 last time by. Has been the fastest car on the track. Dropping to the, nope, actually came in for his third pit stop already. So expecting Dakotah Phend and Tessmann in probably the next lap. Here's Dakotah across the Savox dance floor over the hip turn to the poker table, and here he comes into pit lane. So Maifield's stop was a 5.9. Phend's last stop was a 5.0. And then out, nice and calm. Pitman not worried about trying to huck that car back into pit lane. A 5.5 second stop for Phend. Tessmann into pit lane. Dakotah Phend out of the pack, or out of the track in the back left corner, crashing out. I'm not sure if Ronnefalk there was implicated in that mistake, but a near disaster for Dakotah Phend. That's actually how Dakotah lost a shot at the 2014 Roar Nationals at Thornhill Racing Circuit. Was the top qualifier and flew off the track in the back left corner in the opening laps and slipped all the way to the back of the pack and was not able to fight his way back for a shot at the win. So I can only imagine what was going through his head there. The turn marshal fortunately able to get there a lot more quickly than he was in Texas a couple years ago. And Phend able to resume the race, I believe still with the lead. I'll have to see as they come by one more time. Yeah, it doesn't look like either of those drivers ahead are Maifield or Tessmann. No, it's Tebo and Lutz coming up. So Tebo and Lutz in the 4th and 5th positions, a battle for them. And Phend still maintaining a nearly 4-second advantage on Ryan Maifield, who's got 3.5 seconds back to Tessmann in 3rd. So Lutz losing, actually it was Tebo, I think, making a mistake And Lutz able to move up to 4th. Josh Wheeler has now joined Billy Easton in dropping out of this race, walking off the driver's stand. Josh Wheeler currently being shown in 12th as his race comes to a close. So the top 3 left on the lead lap. Phend, Maifield, and Tessmann, only the podium drivers within 1 lap of race leader Dakotah Phend. Phend charging through the lane change section.